Here at Snapdocs headquarters, trying to bring you guys the most relevant information on how to build your loan signing agent business. Whether you're trying to get business directly through escrow officers, mortgage officers, or real estate agents, or you love to use signing services, I'm here at Snapdocs today to interview Snapdocs to see exactly how their algorithm works, how exactly you can get more signings, how you can maximize your platform for more business. Can't be more excited. Follow me. Hi, nice to meet you. Excited about today. This is going to be awesome.
Yes, I'm excited too.
I'm Mark with the loan signing system. If you guys know a little bit about my course, what I like to do is not only teach signing agents how to complete loan signings, but what really separates my course is that I teach loan signing agents how to get signings. And so whether you're going through escrow officer, title officers, or whether you use signing services, or whether you're in Snapdocs, that's what I do. I try to bring you guys the most relevant information to build your signing agent business. So with that being said, I am at Snapdocs headquarters, yes, in San Francisco, with Felicia from Snapdocs. And thank you so much for being here.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Snapdocs is what I would call is kind of king of the industry. You guys are becoming the go-to place for signing agents to get business. It's a place where the signing service, or let's say the title company, they need a signing. They would use Snapdocs to locate a signing agent. Can you give us a rough estimate of how many closings you hand out on, or signings you hand out on a monthly basis here at Snapdocs?
Yeah, so there are over 50,000 loan closing opportunities each month on Snapdocs. There's over 50 companies across the country that use our platform currently.
Let me repeat that one more time. There is over 50,000 loan closings, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Felicia, that is 50,000 opportunities a month that a signing agent can make money through the Snapdocs platform.
Yeah.
When Snapdocs has a signing to give you, they message you, they text message you for the appointment. So let's talk about how that works. I think it would be less discouraging to some people if they kind of understood how the text messaging works, so they don't get discouraged. Like, I have some students go, man, Mark, I swear to gosh that I have had 20 notifications and I've never got one before. How does that text messaging platform work? And if you have a student who has 20 notifications, they've gotten 20 notifications and they've never received a signing, why wouldn't they receive it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. So there's a lot that goes into our sort of search system and notification system. So I'll try and break it down as much as I can. I would say that if you are feeling discouraged, whether you have signed up, it's been a couple of weeks, and maybe you haven't received any notifications at all, or if you have been receiving notifications, you've been responding as available, but you just haven't been selected, you definitely aren't alone. Okay. So this is definitely a pretty common thing that we hear from signing agents who are new to Snapdocs, regardless of whether they are an actual new notary signing agent or whether they've been in the industry for a long time and they've just signed up on Snapdocs. The key is you're new to Snapdocs.
Well, no, that's great. Is okay, so let's talk about that, because I think that is encouraging to them. So whether you are a veteran signing agent or a new signing agent, because I teach a ton of new signing agents.
Yeah.
You know, the idea that you're not getting them isn't relative per se to being brand new or a veteran. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's just you are new to Snapdocs.
I got it. So so being new to the platform is what is quote unquote not getting the signings, and we're gonna talk through how to not be new or get yourself up and running. But that's good to know, though, because I think a lot of new people think it's because they're new, and that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
It's not because you're a new signing agent, it's just you're new to the platform. Okay, got it. So let's talk about how the text messages work. So title company has a signing in San Francisco. How does the waterfall happen? Do they text message the 5 people, then they text message 10, 15? Once again, I'm asking, I don't know. Because there's a lot of myth, and I'm hoping you can break down the myth for people, is that you cattle call. Is you send out, well, not you, but the platform, the signing service, the title company sends out 100 different text messages to 100 signing agents. So can we confirm or deny that myth, and how does it work?
Yeah, so notifications actually don't get sent out to all signing agents in an area at the same time. So when companies, they have a closing, they create an order, and then they start searching for a signing agent. They can actually, I do want to point this out, is that they can choose to send out notifications and they can also choose not to. So they can actually directly assign a signing agent if they already know who they are working with, if you have some agreement with a company, you're just going to be available for their signings, they can definitely bypass that entire sending out notifications.
So title companies can have a preferred signing agent they can work with and just send it directly to them. Is that what I'm picking up?
Yeah,
Okay.
they can send a notification to that signing agent if they want, but if they don't want to, they already know that signing agent will automatically be able to take that closing.
Got it.
They can just directly assign the closing to that signing agent.
Okay, so let's take it one step past that. Let's say those signing agents aren't available. Then do they mass text 10, 15, are the signing companies or Snapdocs, I know you're working directly with some title companies nowadays, are you only sending it to 10, then 15, then 20? Mm-hmm. How does that work?
Yeah, so if a company does choose to send out notifications, the notifications get sent out one by one to one notary at a time. And something that we don't necessarily talk a lot about just because it goes into like the weeds a little bit is that there's actually a delay between when one text message gets sent out and when the next. It's very short. It can be anywhere from maybe 10 to 20 seconds. It's another sort of detail that companies are actually able to adjust.
Oh, that's interesting. I think it's a great piece of content there. So even if they don't adjust it, it's still always going to be delayed. So it is a myth that 10, let's just use the word 10 signing agents are getting notified at the exact same time. Mm-hmm. So while that window may be 10 or 20 seconds, there will always be a delay.
Yes.
So with that being said, there truly is a first to notify gets back because there's going to be a delay. Mm-hmm. That's a great piece of content because I didn't realize. I literally thought, in my head, I thought maybe you sent out like 5 at a time, 10 at 5. These 5 didn't people answer, then be 10 at a time, then 20, mm-hmm. versus the delay. And I know a lot of my students feel like I think in some of your content online you call it cattle calling or something. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people assume that they didn't realize the delay. So another thing that I heard is that companies can manually change this delay. So whether it's 10 seconds, 15, a minute in between when they get notified out. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really
so that's
cool.
Something that they can adjust.
So that really isn't, and which is good for you guys, is that's not a knock against Snapdocs per se. It's a knock, and I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but maybe the signing service. Because you're just giving them the tools to do X, Y, Z, and the mm-hmm. signing service itself can change those tools.
Yeah, I mean, that is generally our approach to both companies and signing agents. Look, we are giving you a number of tools. How you decide to use them is completely
That's great. That's a great piece of content because I think that, for better or for worse, that reflection's on Snapdocs. When that reflection should be on the person using the platform, not the platform itself. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people go, that's really good. So in order to help the people watching, so speed is valuable. So if you get a text message, you're either a preferred notary, for someone they specifically did first, or you're getting a delayed response out for that signing appointment.
Yeah, so when you receive a text message, that text message is going to you. And then speed is valuable, but it's not the only thing. One thing that we do hear from signing agents is that they believe that signings are given on a first come, first served basis. So it's given to the first signing agent who responds as available. And
so that is or is not true?
It might be true in some cases,
okay.
But in other cases it might not be.
Okay, so let me give you this. So let's say, and I know a lot of my students are like, Mark, I swear to gosh, I click within 1 second of it.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is, and this is a great piece of content, is let's say in theory, 4 people respond simultaneously. Then whoever's giving out the signing, whether that be you or the signing service, mm-hmm. Then the signing service gets 4 people back. Then they can choose of the 4 who gets that order.
Yeah. So the selection decision is on the hiring company. Some companies might choose to go with the first come, first served basis principle, but other companies, they are looking at the responses that they're getting back, and then they're also looking at your profile, seeing what information you have there. Do you have credentials uploaded? What's your work history been like? And they're evaluating all of those things and then making a selection decision off of that.
I think that's the best nugget we've gotten so far, and that is, 4 people. So you could be responding as quick as you can, but there's 4 of the people who respond as quick as you. The person giving out the signing now has 4 people to choose from. So now they're deciding whether it's a signing service. Of these 4 who responded, I'm going to choose this person versus this person. So you shouldn't be discouraged from the standpoint that they are seeing you responded. So now it's the signing service or the title company who's saying, okay, of these 4 people, I'm going to choose person 1 versus person 4 based on criteria of the profile, which we're going to touch in a moment. But for everybody, I think what we need to learn is that even though you're responding instantaneously, the person sending out is recognizing you get it.
Yeah.
They're just at that point making a choice to go with somebody else. So it's your job, which we're going to get to in a second, to make sure if they see that you got notified, that you make the best appearance so they pick you over the 4 other people, which we're going to talk about. But wow, that's awesome. I think it's some great content. Is there anything in regards to the text messaging that I may not have covered that you want to maybe cover in this video?
I think probably the sort of other big point of confusion that we hear from signing agents is, do all signing agents in an area get notified? Because they will say, I have a friend who lives 1 street down and they were notified of this one closing, but I didn't get a text message. And it depends on sort of how the events unfold. In most cases, a company probably won't exhaust the entire list of signing agents that are in an area. It just depends on, who got a notification, what they're putting in as their response, and then the company.
Great question. Okay, I'm glad you're at this point. So we can clarify for everybody watching.
Yeah.
So let's just say San Francisco, in this 4 blocks, there is 100 signing agents. Now let's say that the preferred signing agents aren't getting notified. Now the signing service needs to quote unquote do a cattle call. So they're going to pick, let's say, 20 of those 100 people that are available, right? How do they pick the 20 of the 100? Is it literally just random? So if there's 100, to kind of go to your point, let's say there's 100 signing agents in this radius, whatever the radius is, it's not relevant right now. There's 100 people, but they only want to notify 20 because they don't want to push it out to all 100. How is the 20 picked of the 100 in an area?
So, a company can specify which signing agents they want to send out a notification to. I think in most cases that probably doesn't happen. They just sort of start sending out notifications and then it works its way down the list.
That's my question.
And the list of signing agents is there are things that we look at in order to sort of rank those signing agents. And we rank signing agents because we are trying to surface some of the best and most qualified ones to companies to consider. Okay,
let's put that on pause because we're going to talk about that. But that was a great piece of content, though. So it necessarily isn't random. So in your example, the person across the street who got the notification but she didn't, the answer to that specific question is that person's quote unquote ranked higher. The profile shows up. So out of the 100 people, the way the Snapdocs algorithm is choosing them is quote unquote what the algorithm says is going to be the first 20 best quote unquote notary signing agents to take that deal. So it's being issued out based on your notary ranking. So that is how come someone on this street can get a text message, but someone on this street can't because the person on this side of the street has a better quote unquote notary ranking.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
If you are highly ranked, it just means that you have increased your chances of being notified.
My biggest question I get from students is, Mark, ask her how I can get more notifications. So the answer to getting more notifications outside of becoming a preferred notary, which we're going to touch in a moment, but just generically here, the best way to get random notifications is by increasing your rankings. And I want to touch on what everybody should already know, and that is the very top level of you need to be Snapdocs verified. So we're going to talk about that, and then I'm going to try to dig deeper for you guys to get stuff that's not so already on their website. But I would be doing Snapdocs and Injustice in this interview if we didn't talk about being Snapdocs verified. So what does Snapdocs verified mean?
Yeah, So Snapdocs verified means when a company is looking at the signing agent, that signing agent is fully credentialed to act as a notary signing agent. So if you're a signing agent, getting Snapdocs verified usually involves uploading a number of credentials and having them successfully verified by us. So that usually includes your notary commission certificate, your background check report, your E&O policy, and a non-expired U.S. driver's license for verifying your ID. And then in some cases, you may also need to upload and verify a bond as well.
Real quick, I had a student yesterday ask, Mark, I lost my driver's license. It's in the mail, but I do have a California state ID, not a driver's license. So for my student, can they be Snapdocs verified with just a state ID?
Unfortunately, ID verification doesn't work with state IDs at this time. So if you have a driver's license that's on its way, just wait until you get it to verify your ID. I would say don't bother with a sort of temporary license because it's just not going to work. You need the actual license.
Perfect.
We do understand, though, that you certainly don't need a driver's license in order to work as a notary signing agent. It's just that some of the stricter companies, that is what they specifically look for.
And that's your baseline. Understood.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for answering that question. Okay, so of the amount of signing agents that are Snapdocs verified, how many signing agents on the Snapdocs platform are Snapdocs verified?
There are less than 20% that are Snapdocs verified.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is if you get Snapdocs verified, you are automatically in the top 20% of all the signing agents in Snapdocs. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah.
Okay, so for my students, for anybody watching on YouTube, get Snapdocs verified, and that's the first way to get more notifications, right? Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, you get a pretty substantial boost in ranking for just getting Snapdocs verified.
And I mean, from the layman on the outside in, you go from just any signing agent to the top 20%, just like that. So I mean, I honestly came in thinking that 80% of signing agents were Snapdocs verified. So encouraging my students to get Snapdocs verified was almost pointless because everyone did. That was me going into this, and I'm willing to bet $1 of donuts. I sound like my dad. That most signing agents think the same thing. Like everyone's Snapdocs verified, so why should I do it? But that automatically puts you in the top 20%. So if there's 50,000 plus loans going out a month in Snapdocs, and you can be the top 20%, I think it's obvious why you should be getting Snapdocs verified like yesterday.
There's a reason why we so highly encourage signing agents to get verified. It's something that's pretty easy that might take you only a couple of minutes.
If you automatically get the top 20% of all the signing agents in Snapdocs, it is a no-brainer. On kind of a random tangent here is how many signing agents are in the Snapdocs database? Can you give that number out? 10,000, 20,000?
There's over 65,000.
So you get automatically in the top 20% of 60,000 notaries. Like that is, guys, get Snapdocs verified. If there's anything you learn in this video, it is being Snapdocs verified is going to make you in the top 20%. So you're going to increase your odds of signing by literally 80%. That's just simple math. Okay, great. So I'd like to get a little more granular because specifically here, I have a printout that says our search algorithm looks at a variety of factors, but here are some criteria that factor into a ranking system. And so I would like to get into what is variety of factors. So, once again, this is all about tips that they can't necessarily get anywhere else, right? And so what are other tips to boost their ranking? Because I'm trying to segue now into rankings. So we know that Snapdocs verified gets you in the top 20%. I'm still blown away by that. I'm just blown away. But now let's talk about rankings, because obviously now you guys want to separate yourself. Now you know you're in the top 20%. But how do you make yourself the top 20% of the 20%, right? And that's what I want to dig out of you right now.
Yeah.
So what are other things that signing agents can do? For instance, what I've heard, and you got to love the Snapdocs myths out there, is if you accept more signings, if you take more signings, Snapdocs is going to rank you higher in their algorithm. So is that a true statement?
So if you have completed more signings with companies that use Snapdocs, that does help increase your ranking.
Okay, great. So that's a good piece of information. So to increase your business, increase your chance of getting a notification, you got to do more closings, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But okay, so is that nice little tidbit of the algorithm. is there any other pieces of advice or things they can do to increase your ranking in the algorithm that's not completed profile, that's not number of loan signings, and that's not being favorited?
This might fall under a complete profile, but upload a profile photo. That'll increase your ranking.
Well, let's talk about that real quick, because in my notes here, you state on the website that they are 3.5 times more likely to be awarded an assignment if they upload a photo. Is that a true stat?
Yes.
Wow, that's insane. So, so simply by being Snapdocs verified, and now let's back up one step. To be Snapdocs verified, you don't necessarily need to upload a photo. Okay,
That's
cool.
separate.
Just want to make sure we're getting all these facts out there. If 4 people simultaneously answer a text message, and this person who can attach the signing to it can actually see the person they're going to attach a signing to, I would argue they're probably going to pick the person that they actually know is going to represent them out in the field.
Yeah, I would say exactly. Your profile photo is a representation, for better or worse, of yourself, your business, your brand, and companies would probably prefer to be able to see who they are going to work with, who they're sending to the consumer's home, and potentially your profile photo may reflect how you may end up showing up to the consumer's home. Are you going to be dressed in like a nice button down or a suit, or are you going to show up in t-shirts and jeans?
Great. So what I think a loan signing system tip would be to get more business through Snapdocs is getting a headshot. I mean, if you're 3.5 times more likely to get a sign because you have a picture, I would make the bridge is if you have a good-looking professional photographer photo versus you at a bar from your Facebook profile, you're probably more apt to get business. So I think it might behoove students to get some type of a headshot. I mean, shoot, with iPhones now, you can use the portrait,
Portrait mode?
feature. Thank you, portrait mode, and just do something with a beige background back and make a professional photo. So I think what we can conclude is if you're 3.5 more times likely to get a signing because of your profile, make your of your profile picture. Make sure that profile picture is stellar, and don't take for granted that there's an actual human who's looking at the 4 notifications, and they can see your profile. And if you have a professional photo, and your photo is better than the 4 other people, you're probably more likely to get the signing. Is there any statistic on whether a more fully filled out profile bio gets a signing agent more business? Because I got some students who will write like a Stephen King novel, you know what I mean? And so does that necessarily, do you know, is there any data? Does that help signing agents?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any data around how filled out your bio is, how long it is. We also, unfortunately, don't have any data around how much companies look at your bio. But, I mean, it's another place for you to showcase any specific certifications you might have, any relevant experience if you've been working in the industry for multiple years, even under a different role. That might be something that's beneficial to put in there if you are new to the industry. Are there skills that you have that may translate? So it certainly doesn't hurt to put in information in your bio. I would just say that there are other things that we encourage and that maybe you might want to prioritize above really spending a lot of time on your bio.
So with that being said, loan signing system tip would be you should probably just kind of stick to the basics of what I'm bilingual, kind of a quick profile, because the fact of the matter is most signing service owners are kind of in a hurry to attach a signing agent to it. So, the idea that they're going to read a 4-paragraph bio, if there's no specific data backing up that is beneficial, my loan signing agent tip would be, loan signing system tip would be to just keep it very concise, what is big hitting facts, bilingual, things of that nature, and just kind of discard the 14 paragraphs since there's no actual data behind it, and that's why we have the interview.
So I do want to talk about languages, additional languages that signing agents might be proficient in. So, I mean, you can put that in your bio, but we also do have a specific place on your My Profile page where you can enter in the languages that you are proficient in besides English.
Awesome.
And companies can actually search. Ooh. That is a search field. So that's actually where I would say you probably want to put that information.
Great piece of content. So I didn't realize that's why we had the interview. Is like they can. So what you're saying is they can do 92108 search, and they can search Spanish.
Yeah.
And then only the signing agents who come up in 92108 and are Spanish will pop up, and ideally that's who get this notifications. So I think a great tip is a loan signing system tip is to make sure that you fill out what languages you're proficient in, because it's an actual search feature for the back end.
Exactly.
Great piece of content.
And just some data here. Spanish and Mandarin are the two languages that companies are most often looking for signing agents who are proficient in. But of course, if you can speak other languages, maybe less common ones, don't be afraid to put that in. Even I think American Sign Language is an option that you can put in. You never know what companies are looking for in order to meet consumers' needs. So you might end up picking up a couple of extra jobs if a company is having a hard time finding someone who, I don't know, can speak
German,
and you have that listed. They work with you once and they had a great experience. You might become their go-to when they need a German-speaking signing agent in your area.
Can you answer whether they can put more than one zip code in, or how can they do that, or any secrets of getting your profile or getting notifications in more than just the one zip code they live in?
Yeah, so your location is based on the street address that you put in your profile, and that is it. In terms of our search, it's really on the company's end to sort of control where exactly they want to search. So when they put in the information of the signing, they put in the appointment location. And then when they're searching for signing agents, they can edit the mile radius that is searched. They can shrink it, they can expand it to as large as they want.
And this is a question soon. I hate to cut you off, I didn't want to forget it.
That's all right.
So what is the default radius? So if they don't change the radius, they type in 92108. What's the default? Because I get this question all the time, like, how far out is this radius? So what's the default radius?
So I actually do believe that we need to update some of our own content as well, but the default radius will actually change. It's just we are trying to pull in a certain number of signing agents for the company to look at. We don't want to sort of surface too few. We also don't want to surface too many.
God, and so it's interesting.
So it's basically, we're looking at kind of the density of how many signing agents are in an area.
It's very interesting.
So that means that if you are in an urban area like a large city where there's a lot of signing agents, the default radius that is searched will likely be a lot smaller. It might be as small as 5 miles than if the company had a signing out in a rural area where there's far fewer signing agents.
So the radius isn't relative, it's the amount of signing agents that get. So the algorithm's reading the amount of possible signing agents to attach to a file. So in theory, if you're in San Francisco and there is, just making this out, 400 signing agents within 1 mile, it's going to pull everything within 1 mile because it's the algorithm saying there's enough signing agents to pull in this specific area to fill an order, versus we're going to pull a 1 mile, 2 mile radius for everybody. So it's not relative to radius, it's relative to how many signing agents they could pull to maybe take that order.
Yeah, how many signing agents are in that area?
That's so interesting. So yeah, so I guess the question is, the answer to the question is radius it's not relative, it's relative density, and we just will never know the density because we don't have access to the back end. But let's answer the other question, the other half of that question, which is, how can a signing agent, so I'm sure you know of like Notary Resume, quote unquote, some of your competition, right? 123 Notary, other signing agent databases. Because what students say is, well, in 123 Notary, Notary Resume, you can put, 4 zip codes in, and you're going to get pulled up for 4 zip codes, which you can see it could be beneficial. So my students are trying to make that same bridge to Snapdocs. Is there a possibility, I'm not even talking in the future, right now, to put your name in more than 1 zip code?
There is not. Yeah, I
Gotcha.
think many signing agents are used to being able to do that, and then on Snapdocs, it just doesn't translate. It's your street address, and that's it. we do see signing agents will often put in their bio, they'll list the zip codes or the cities that they cover, which is totally fine. It doesn't hurt to put that information in, but it's just that in terms of our search system, that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at your street address.
Great. So, great piece of advice. Loan signing tip is in your profile, in the bio, it's borderline pointless to put that you work for 20 different zip codes because you're never going to be found via the 20 zip codes. The signing service or title company that's looking you up, you're only going to be found via the radius, the density of which your home zip code is. So putting in your profile, I will go to signings in 92101, 92103, 92106, 921 is basically pointless because by the time they get to that profile, you've already been dictated whether you're going to get a signing or not, or chosen. So don't worry about that, guys. You're hearing directly from the horse's mouth that it's not relative how many zip codes you put in your bio because they're never even going to get to your bio if they didn't get to you first via the zip code of your home address.
Yeah, so location from the signing appointment is something that does factor into your ranking, but of course that's something that you can't really control because it's based on your street address and where the signing appointment is.
Okay, so let me ask you, I know a loan signing system tip. Okay, so let's say you live in a rural part of town. Okay, let's say you live an hour outside of San Francisco, but you know that San Francisco has a plethora of loan signings. Could you say your home address is in San Francisco so you can get those notifications? Or to be Snapdocs verified, do you have to literally put your home address? Or could this be a loan signing insider tip on how to get more notifications by making your home address in an area you're willing to drive to?
Yeah, so I mean, technically you can put in any address as your street address. We have seen signing agents who put in a P.O. box address, and that's totally fine. I think one thing to watch out for there, though, is that if a company needs to mail you documents, they are probably going to mail it to whatever is listed as your street address.
That's a great, I love it. Yeah, so my insider tip would be put your address wherever the most dense area you're willing to drive to is. That would be my 2 cents, just trying to think outside the box. And just make sure every time you get a notification, I would literally just say, do you plan on mailing me docs? And so if you kind of get in the habit, that's a great piece of information. You can cover your backside by just asking those simple questions, and you can get more signings by putting yourself in a more dense area part of town. So amazing. That's why we have this interview, is so we can get information like that. So I would put your home profile as the most dense area that you're willing to travel to, and you will get the most notifications. So you can stop being like, well, I live in the middle of nowhere, I get no signings. Well, put your address in where the signings are happening. So amazing.
I do want to add though,
please,
something,
please.
If you do choose to sort of change your street address to a denser area where there might be more work, is that you are probably going to come up against a lot more competition. There's just a lot more signing agents in that area. There's a lot more signing agents for companies to choose from. So if you're in a rural area, that actually might work to your benefit. If there's not many signing agents, the companies only have to choose from maybe 10 signing agents as opposed to 100.
Love it. Yeah, there's 2 sides to each coin, but this interview is to give you the best information. You make the best decision for you and your business, but I completely agree with you. So if people are picked via zip codes, right? So, you know, if a signing agent is in San Diego for the week, but they're going to go visit their parents in Sacramento for the weekend, they can change their home address from San Diego to Sacramento. So when they're in Sacramento, they can get signing notifications because they're now in Sacramento, not San Diego. That's a completely legal move.
Yeah, absolutely. We get questions from notaries about that quite often, actually.
Yeah,
they're relocating or they, travel between different areas in a state, like Northern California, Southern California, very far, but maybe they split their time between the two. And you can absolutely change your street address as much as you want if you want to receive closing opportunities in a different area while you're there.
Does that happen in real time? So let's just say, for instance, you know, I moved today. I'm moving this weekend to Sacramento, and it's Friday, and then I change my location Friday night because I'm gonna be in Sacramento in the morning. Like the algorithms would read that I'm living 92102 the next morning, or the search features. Excuse me.
Yeah, so it does happen in real time.
Because where my loan signing tip is going to be is I have some students who are in Riverside and they come to Los Angeles for appointments, using Snapdocs because they want it. And so if they're in Los Angeles, they can then change their address in Snapdocs to LA to get more LA signings in real time. So let's say they come out to LA for 3 o'clock and they know they're going to be in LA for the evening and they want to try to get a chance at a appointment in LA that evening because they're going to be in LA. They can just change their address in Snapdocs and they would, in theory, get notifications, assuming the notary rankings are high, all this other stuff, in LA in real time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there's a loan signing tip that I think is going to change the game for some of you guys. I mean, so if you're willing to move anywhere, and if you kind of do, Fresno to Bakersfield, because I have some students who will drive anywhere to make money, which I love them for the hustle. So if you're in a new part of town, you can just change your address in real time, and the search feature will pick up that you're in a new address. And then assuming your notary rankings are high, you're getting all the thumbs up, all the favorites, everything's going to increase your social score and notary ranking. You'll get signings no matter where you are. So I think the nugget is the search feature happens in real time. That's actually an absolutely amazing nugget. Okay, so almost kind of wrapping up this part of the interview. Can you discuss what search factors that the signing service could search under? I think that's relevant. So, which, for instance, would be Spanish, or language, for instance, would be 92108, your zip code. So what are other things that signing service can search and to give them tips on maybe they can make their profile more search favorable?
Yeah, so language is one of them, and then companies can sort of filter their searches by different criteria. They can maybe filter just for signing agents who have an uploaded background check or an E&O policy. Also, the minimum E&O policy amount. That is something that they can filter by. I know some of the top title companies, they require signing agents to maybe have 100. Yeah. And so if you want to work with them, maybe that's something that you want to consider. But yeah, that's something that they can filter by. Other things is if you're an attorney, mark that off in your profile, and then you can also actually upload your bar card in order to show the company that, yes, I'm actually an attorney and I'm in good standing. So that's another thing. Going more into credentials, but sort of more in depth. Please. If you are in a state that requires you to be a title producer or a closing agent, definitely upload those licenses. We will verify them even though they aren't part of your Snapdocs verified requirements, but that's something that some of the stricter companies might also be looking for. And then another thing, not necessarily that they can filter by, but just something that they can tweak. So companies can actually also slightly tweak their Snapdocs verified requirements.
Okay.
So with ID verification, you can't verify your ID with an expired driver's license, but once you've verified your ID, your license has been sort of used for that, and we have the license expiration date. Come 10 years later, your license has expired. Technically, your ID is still verified, but now it's been done with an expired license. And so some companies can, if they want to, they can say Snapdocs verified. That only includes non-expired licenses for ID verification. So in that case, if your license has expired by then, we recommend you to just verify your ID again with a new license.
All right, so the loan signing system, obviously, I don't know if you know this, Felicia, we also teach us loan signing agents how to be loan signing agents. So is it a safe assumption to make that Snapdocs values educated signing agents?
Definitely. So, I mean, educated signing agents will probably deliver a much better signing experience to the consumer. And I think at the end of the day, that is what everyone is sort of concerned about, is the consumer's experience. If you are able to go into a closing and answer all of the consumer's questions, know how to handle different situations, that consumer is probably going to feel really comfortable, like they're in good hands. The signing will probably, hopefully, go off without a hitch. And your client, the signing service or the title company, will be very happy with a happy consumer. And that hopefully will just sort of turn into a sort of cycle or mutual relationship that will benefit you in getting more repeat business.
I chuckle because that's literally what I say. Everything you just said is what I tell my students, and everything when I try to talk about why I take the loan signing system course is literally what you just said, because you're right. There's a saying that I use in the loan signing system is our job is to be impartial, not uneducated. I'm glad to hear that Snapdocs values highly educated notaries. And so thank you, Felicia, for taking this time. I'm Mark. I teach the loan signing system, and my goal is to not only educate you on how to do a loan signing, but my goal, as always, is to educate you on how to get actual loan signing. So I hope today's interview with Felicia helped you get more loan signings. I'm Mark. I teach the loan signing system, and I'll see you next time. Bye. You can see the entire interview. You can learn all 16 tips, including how to fully optimize your Snapdocs ranking in the Loan Signing System training course. Click the link below to get started today.